Peace be upon you, everyone, especially to our beloved lecturer, Madam Zoe, and to my all beloved fellow classmates. So today I will be presenting about my methodology and my research, which is titled as Teachers' Perceptions in Using Puzzles for English Learning. Okay. So as a brief introduction before we get into the heavy details, it is a qualitative approach. I will be interviewing a few teachers and I will be looking at the effectiveness, the benefits, the challenges, and potential strategies in implementation. These are the things that I will be looking from the teachers' elaborations and explanations to my questions. So with that, let's get to the first one, which is the research approach. So again, it will be a qualitative approach, which seeks to understand and interpret social phenomena by exploring the subjective experiences, attitudes, and beliefs of the individual groups in precision with the teachers that I will be interviewing. So as we know, with qualitative, it is a non-numerical approach that focuses on the meaning that people attach to their experiences. Okay, next. So as we mentioned about experiences, it will be regarding the design chosen for this research will be phenomenological design. So which emphasizes on it fully describes subjective experiences, perceptions, interpretations, attitudes, beliefs, values, feelings, and meanings of authentic individuals. Put by Dex Council on the 14th page. Okay. So we move on to the samples and the samplings. So I will be choosing around 5 to 6 English teachers. But first, let's move on to the next slide first. So it will be a purposive or purposeful samplings. The main consideration, one of the main consideration we have here is for it to be from the same school, or at least, should I add, at least within the same area of in context here, which is either urban or rural areas. This is to avoid too many external factors that can impact the differences in results, be it personal internal factors or external surrounding factors. I'm aware that I should be quoting to support this notion, and I will do that eventually. Some of the factors right here are biases, experiences, the difference in language, surroundings, as in rural or urban areas, organizational structures of the school, classroom settings, and probably more things that are not mentioned in this list. And these are more of a control or constant variable that I would like to keep in mind throughout my research. Okay, so we move back to the previous slide. The criteria of the teachers that I'll be looking at here are teachers who are mainly primary school teachers that mainly teaches grade 1, I hope that's the correct term, grade 1, which is the Hamzah, which consists of students aged around 7 to 9, which are precisely standard 1, standard 2, and standard 3 students. The minimum for the experience in teaching should be around 1 or 2 years. When we talk about experience in this context, it does not necessarily mean that they need to have experience in implementing the puzzles into English teaching or learning themselves, but rather it would assist if they do have. That goes the same with all the other criteria. They do not have to have these strictly, but it would help in ensuring the richness in response and explanations. Okay, so we move on to the next one. Okay, so data collection. So data collection will be done in an interview. So more depth on the interview, it will be an in-depth interview or an individual interview, a one-on-one session with the participants where they can freely express their experiences, thoughts, and feelings on their perceptions in using puzzles for English learning. And the type of the interview will be a standardized open interview. As we know, standardized meaning that the exact wording and sequence of questions have been determined in advance before the interview, and then the type of questions will be semi-constructed format. So what we mean by here is that there will be already a list of key areas to cover, and it allows for spontaneity and adaptability throughout the interview with the teachers. Now I know what you're thinking. I'll move on to the next one, which I've already sort of clarified here. I'm aware that the 2 points, can we go back? The 2 points of standardized open interview and semi-constructed interview might be a bit contradicting in nature. So I believe that I can still, I believe that I can still go on with this because I believe it strikes balance between consistency and flexibility. And also it maintains some level of comparability in response, which still captures the richness and depth in the participant's response. Okay, so we move on to the data analysis procedure. So the data analysis would be a thematic analysis where I will be identifying patterns and themes based on the teacher's responses. So this is where this is where the emphasis on the same criteria of the teachers really put into play, because by having similar backgrounds or surroundings, should I say, it would lead to having similar patterns in response. So therefore, I want to analyze those similarities and compare them in a thematic analysis. A more detail of the analysis will be in inductive type, which involves developing theories, concepts, or patterns from the data itself that have been collected and analyzed, instead of relating it with the pre-existing theories or hypotheses. So these are the basic steps, or like the simplified steps for the sake of presentation in thematic analysis. When we talk about thematic analysis, of course, there will be transcriptions, familiarizing with the text, and of course, coding will be involved, which also consists of training the coders, and etc. So I believe that is all the time I have for my presentation today. Thank you for your kind attention. I'm sorry? Not two types. These are criteria of the questions. The types of questions have been, I haven't finalized it yet, but I mentioned in the second slide, if I remember correctly, about the benefits, the benefits, and all of that. This is more of just an explanation. Oh, these two. From what I understand is that we know standardized open-ended means that how do you say, the participants are open to give elaborated and extensive feedback, but then like I want to stick to a certain theme of the questions. So despite them being able to give elaborated responses, I still want to keep them within the themes that I want to analyze. So that's what I mean by semi-constructed format.
Okay, so you go to the next slide, where you talk about this image. So what are the 2 points that were
The 2 points were the semi-constructed interview along with the open-ended interview. The open-ended interview having the semi-constructed questions. Because at least to my understanding, in definition, they contradict with each other, but they don't.
Semi-structured questions.
Yes. The type can be.
The type can be
Oh, okay.
So if let's say you're saying, like, for example, you have a structured question, like 5 questions that you want to ask with the theme that you mentioned, right? And then during the interview, you might want to ask 4 questions.
Yes.
Right? So that then at least you're using semi-structured.
Oh, that's already semi-structured.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I believe I do not need this clarification. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Last one.